Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Modern Divorce podcast here, December 2nd. It's the week after Thanksgiving when your body's kind of just passing along the Thanksgiving toxin mentally
My
and
body is
physically.
so mad at me. My body is like, what were you thinking? How could you eat all that salty, terrible food? But I mean, it tasted good.
And then the aftermath of like your weird family conversations, the stuff looping in your head, maybe that's kind of passing. So
Yeah, just kind of getting back into the normal life. My kids had a week off of school, so it felt like a long break.
so we're in this weird kind of time in the year where it's Thanksgiving, past Thanksgiving, and then Christmas is coming, where people, especially probably people who work for the government, they're kind of like they time their vacations, right? And so how does this all loop into the divorce world? Like as far as I imagine child custody schedules, scheduling court. How's your schedule? What's people's schedule with who have this in their life, and what's that all like right now?
I mean, most people don't want to go to court during the holidays, and many of the regular judges are on, vacation. So you have to see a temporary judge or something, and people don't like that. So I think at this point of the year, for the most part, people are trying to wait till January to do things. But also, if their divorce has been sent to the courthouse, they're like clamoring to have it be entered this year so they can be divorced in 2021. So those people are in a rush, and everyone else is sort of like taking their time. Nobody wants to go to
Oh,
court like Christmas week.
and then also too, probably with taxes too. It's like you want to maybe close out the year like or maybe like I want to keep that divorce on this side of 2021 and then moving forward. I
Right.
imagine.
Exactly. Like you want it to be a clean break. You're done. You can file 2021 taxes separately if you want to. Of course, you should talk to your accountant because sometimes it's still more advantageous to file together, but yeah, people want that behind them.
Yeah, we are not CPAs here, so talk to your CPA and
Disclaimer.
confirm this. Yeah. So
Disclaimer, we're
um,
not giving tax advice.
all right, so we got some financial stuff here that we do cover. So let's get into that part of the show where we go over the news. We see what's going on the trends on Google, what's trending. Let's see some celebrity news for the day. Let's get to it. We're going to go to the New York Post, where it says here we're 100K in debt after getting married, divorced, and then remarried. So this is like a TikTok post. Let's just entertain it. I really doubt there's any valid things we can relate to. But hey, TikTok. I sometimes get good financial tips from it. So let's see. So a couple revealed they're 100K in debt, paying off for their divorce, even though they're happily back together and remarried now. So these TikTokers, Brittany Jade, who posts under @Brittany Jade _ said they have they could see the funny side of their expensive predicament. She said in a video that she had previously wanted a divorce and her husband hadn't wanted to, but had gone along with it anyway. However, they said they are married with 100K after rekindling their love. Our happily ever after is paying off a divorce we never got. But for the record, we almost have my side of it paid off. She explained in the comments that the divorce was so expensive as it wasn't straightforward or mutual. The pair had been married for 9 years before separating for a year and a half. She continued that they don't like talking about it. Now they're back together, but they did see other people during their split as they had accepted the marriage was over. That was one of the hardest parts of getting back together. So yeah, does this so I imagine besides the TikTok craziness, this probably happens where people are married, get divorced, and come back together, but they still have to pay their legal fees. Of course, there's no refund.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I mean, that's one reason I tell people, hey, like, make sure you're serious about this. 'Cause even though you can withdraw it or cancel it or change it, you're already going to have started incurring fees for yourself. And, you've opened the can and you can close the can, but there's still consequences. You incurred these fees, they're not going to go away. So, people have to be aware of that. The people that you hired still have to get paid. So, think about it before you actually file if you think that you're not ready. Because then if you reconcile and then decide to file again, you got to start all over again from square one and pay all those same fees over again.
Yeah, it's not like a car. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's not like a car. If like you make a mistake, you're like, oh, I can buy this car. If I don't like it in a year, I can trade in and get something else. So we did learn something from TikTok. Like, do your due diligence and make sure you want this and think about it before doing something crazy emotionally.
But that being said, reconciliation is always great. I mean, sometimes you are serious about the divorce and then you realize you do want to be together. So I'm not saying don't go for it. Like, it's worth it to, lose that money if you realize that you're meant to be together. But yeah, if you're on the fence, maybe wait until you're sure.
Okay, let's get to this next topic. This is a celebrity one. This is the most expensive divorces in modern history. Man, so it's a slide one. It's a slide article. So let's just see and tell me what you think. 'Cause we've done a few of these. So let's get into here. So Matt Lauer and Ned broke 20 million. I've watched this. I'm watching this morning show that Apple one where it's based on him. So I imagine that divorce happened during then. That was interesting. Lionel Richie and Diane Alexander, 20 million. Oh man, he has some good songs, but those are like old school songs. Ted Danson and Katie Coates, 30 million. Mick Jagger and Jerry Hall. I imagine, so this was 40 million. I think he's had several of these divorces. Let's move up. Let's get to the good stuff. Oh man, let's get to the 100 million one. So Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving, 100 million. Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegen, 100 million. Harrison Ford and Melissa Matheson, 118 million. Garth Brooks and Sandy Mull, 125. We're almost getting there. Bob and Sheila Johnson, this is the BET co-founders, 400 million. So if we keep going, so Michael Jordan's divorce to Juanita Jordan, 168 million. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, 200 million. Mel Gibson, this is a surprise, to Robin Denise Moore, 425 million. Elaine and Steve Wynn, 955 million. We're getting to the billions now, so we got a few of these. Harold Sue, Ann Ham, 1 billion. This is oil money. Rupert and Anna Murdoch, 1.7 billion. And so there's another show, Succession on HBO. I hear it's based on this. I'm watching that one. This one's probably going to be a TV show too. Jeff Bezos and Mackenzie Scott, 38 billion. Bill Gates and Melinda French is the highest one right now. It's 80 billion. So I assume there's going to be another one next year. It's going to top it. I don't know. So what do you think? These numbers are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the thing is, like, some of them aren't surprising, like, Bill Gates and Bezos and stuff, but some are surprising, like, especially the actors. I would not guess certain actors to, like, divorces are so much more than other ones. But I guess when you think about it, you could be like the most famous actor in the world who makes the most money, but if you don't manage it well, you may have nothing. So it's really not about what they're paid or what, their general like popularity is. It's what they keep. Like, are you an actor, that's good at, maybe you're a B-list actor, but you're good at saving. And so your divorce is billions of dollars. Whereas, some really famous actor who's terrible at saving has nothing. Like Johnny Depp, like he, got paid so much money for Pirates and all that. And he is nothing from what I read. I don't know him, but so you just never know. It's a little surprising to me though, some of the names you said.
Yeah, I'm most surprised about the Mel Gibson thing. I guess in the 90s, he was just everywhere. So
it's true.
we'll
And
see.
if he saved the money and if he still, well, I guess these are all recent divorces. So but he must have saved well.
You would think. All right. So let's go to someone who looks like they saved well. So this one, or this couple is continuing on the number one divorce. So Gates offer post-divorce philanthropic plans. So Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates say they will still work with the Giving Pledge, the campaign they co-founded with Warren Buffett in 2010 to encourage billionaires to donate the majority of their wealth through philanthropy. So they said, this is what they were saying here in the letters. I recognize the absurdity of so much wealth being concentrated in the hands of one person. I believe the only responsible thing to do with a fortune this size is give it away as softly and impactfully as possible, wrote French Gates. She added, it's important to acknowledge that giving away money your family will never need it is not an especially noble act. So she alone is worth 6.2 billion, according to Forbes. So she's focusing on fighting poverty and advancing equality for women and girls and other marginalized groups in the United States and around the world. So she's saying that. I think she kind of is a catalyst for the charity. So she's saying no child should lack access to life-saving medicines or a quality education simply because of where he or she lives. And the foundation was created to address deeply unfair inequalities around the globe. The foundation's mission has grown over time, but it remains focused on expanding opportunity for the world's poorest people and improving education in the United States. So during a divorce, like if there were plans before, and then there's a divorce, does that like void like kind of these pledges to charities? What's legally obligated in this case?
Well, if you've that's a good question. I mean, if you incurred a debt or made a pledge or made any contract of any sort prior to divorce, just the fact that you're getting the divorce would not cancel that. So you would still be liable to that third party for whatever you had agreed that you were going to do. Now, whether you're both liable or just one spouse is liable is another question. That's, would get into, is the community property available for, whatever you pledged or offered. But getting a divorce does not take away your duties to third parties. You still have to pay the debts you owe. You still have to go through with your obligations. Part of the subject of negotiation or trial, if you can't settle, is who pays what and who's responsible for what.
Okay, so we have it there. Bill Gates, and come on, they can afford a few billion out of hundreds of billions. Okay, so here's an interesting article here. So this is from bestlifeonline.com. If you did this at your wedding, you're more likely to get divorced. So one study has found a common trait among married couples who split. So here it is. Planning your wedding day can be both time-consuming and expensive, and unfortunately, a substantial number of marriages end in divorce, which can take up a lot of your time and money too, aside from the heartbreak. In the US, the average cost of a divorce in 2019 was around $12,900. but it can reach more than 23,000 according to the Ascent. While couples may decide to end their marriage for many different reasons, there are some telltale signs that you're headed in that direction. In fact, one study indicates that a wedding itself might provide some clue as to your chances of getting divorced. So here it is. If you spend a lot of money at your wedding, you're more likely to get divorced. You might want to watch how much money you put on your big day. A 2014 study established or published in Social Science Research Network looked at weddings and marriages of more than 3,000 people in the United States and found the price of a wedding is likely to play into your chances of future separation. According to the study, recently married couples who spent more than $20,000 on their wedding were 46% more likely to split than those who spent around $5,000 to $10,000, and those who spent $10,000 to $20,000 were 29% more likely to get divorced more than those who spent that in the mid-range. So there could be more reason than one why cheaper weddings provide more stable marriages. So spending less than this range might decrease your chance of splitting in the future. According to the study, recently married couples who spent just $1,000 or less on their wedding were 54% likely to get divorced compared to those who spent $5,000 to $10,000. So researchers for the study did not conclude exactly why cheaper weddings might produce more stable marriages, but there are a number of possible explanations. It could be that the type of couples who have a cheap wedding are the type who are a perfect match together, or it could be that having an expensive wedding relieves young couples of financial burdens that may strain the marriage. Well, let's stop there. So what do you think? Like, because I imagine financial burdens compound, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I never knew about that correlation between the price of your wedding and your likelihood of staying together. You know, it's surprising to me. I wouldn't think that would matter, but maybe, maybe it is that people that spend less, it's like they just want to be married. That's their main purpose. They elope, they do it really cheap. Whereas people who care about the big fancy party, maybe some of it is that they want the big fancy party. But I think that's such a generalization. It's also, this is like a US national thing. So, like a wedding in the Midwest is going to be so much cheaper than just like a cheap wedding in California is probably $20,000, So, and the price of a divorce is going to vary significantly depending on where you are. So, I think some of that's hard to compare, but it's interesting. I'd be interested to hear like what further studies on it have to say.
That'd be funny if you had like a survey where you had a incoming prospect and you put how much you spent on your wedding,
right?
That'd be, yeah, because all this data, it's like it's so weird how data kind of, with these studies, and you would never think, because according to that, I'm over.
Yeah, no, that would be very, very interesting. I should keep track of it.
Yeah, keep the data points. Okay, so man, we're moving along here so fast. There's so many topics still to cover, and we'll move on. Let's go to the part of the show where we go over people's journeys, like we call it Emily's Ask Emily, right? Ask Emily anything, where people post about where they are in the divorce journey, whether they're starting, whether they're having trouble with child custody schedules, splitting divorce assets. So let's get into it. This first one is about dating. So let's go to it. How did everyone handle dating during divorce? I really haven't considered it. Figured I'd lay low for a while. With this lady in my office, we've been flirting. I've learned from another colleague, she divorced her husband recently. She asked this morning if I'd be joining the Friday Singles Happy Hour crew. That's never been something I've been keen on. I really keep my work and personal life separate, but I like her a lot. She's the kind of person I feel I should have wound up with. I know a rebound won't last, but I die if I miss a chance. She knows more about my situation than I know about her. They keep my nose out of gossip circles. The complications, I'm still living with my ex. That won't be finalized for at least 3 months. She's still harassing me daily to put a stop to the divorce. I won't. It's not an option for us anymore. I can guarantee if I go to the happy hour, I'm going to ask her to a day date, maybe the farmer's market or a coffee on Sunday. What do I need to be aware of?
I mean, that's a kind of a loaded question, but I mean, yeah, it's tough to date after divorce, but obviously that person sounds like they're getting ready and excited about it. And I'm not, it's just like dating pre-divorce. I'm not sure there are any specifics. If there's children involved, I think that that's something you need to discuss with your ex and with the person you're going to go on a date with. Like, are there rules about introducing children? You want to be respectful of everybody's comfort level. But if there's no kids, I say go for it.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward. You're like, I'm not a dating advisor. Just go for it.
Well, I think everybody's comfort level is different. So I don't want to presume that I know what's the right answer.
All right, let's remove the awkwardness. Let's get to a life after divorce question here. Anyone divorced the only person they've been with? I've been with my wife for over a decade. She was the only woman I'd ever dated, kissed, etc. Started feeling like I married a friend, not a romantic partner. A few years ago, sought out an affair as a way to get context about relationships, get more than I got more than I bargained for. I realized my concerns were justified, and I'm not in love with my wife. We're in the process of separating now. So here I am, a 30-year-old guy who's never officially dated. I've now experienced my first breakup and heartbreak while being married. I'm finally thinking about what love is and the importance of relationships. Thankfully, I have a therapist and has been helping me through all this. How did things? So he's asking, how did things go after you separated? I imagine he's asking other people. Were you confident you would find someone else? What were your first post-divorce relationships like? Did you rush into trying to find another relationship, or did you look for something casual at first? This is another dating thing. I didn't, this happens when we just kind of improv the questions. So, but, yeah, what do you think?
I think that there's like support groups and also like social groups for people that have these kind of questions that, want to talk to people that have been through this and just really need advice on how to get back out there into the dating world. And I highly recommend joining one of those because I think that can be super helpful and give you, good advice and also the peace of mind to move forward and some closure and some, feel more comfortable.
All right, I think I see a pet issue here. This is a getting started one. So my husband, after months of talking about separating, has moved out of our house. He's staying at a hotel while we close on a house for me and my son to move in. I've been wanting to get a puppy for almost a year now and went to an animal shelter and put down a deposit to get a puppy. I feel this will bring joy and comfort to me and my son during such a hard time in our lives. Almost all of my friends and family think I've lost my mind to do this. Any advice?
Well, I'm a giant dog person, so I think getting a puppy is always a good solution to everything. But really, animals actually provide a lot of emotional support and comfort and can be a very helpful thing if you're having anxiety or depression or trying to get over a breakup. I think that they're like therapeutic qualities are amazing. And, so my advice is, go for it. I think everybody should have pets and, have that animal to hug when you're having a bad day or something. I can just go hug my dog, and there's like a physical reaction. It's like the same thing as like getting a warm hug or putting on a soft blanket. Like you actually get those physical, like I don't know what they call it, like not hormones, but like, the
endorphins or something.
Endorphins, that's the word I'm thinking of. Yeah. So I think it's great.
Yeah, those the Shibu, that type of dog, it's like super popular. I hear it everywhere. Like everyone wants that dog too. Look for a Shibu. I don't know. What do I know? So look, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much. We will see everyone next week. All right.